Right now, the political landscape of Washington state is being remade. We need to make sure that our community's voices are heard. Every 10 years, after everyone gets counted in the census, Washington redraws the boundaries of our political districts. The district you live in determines who you can vote for and how much voting power your community has. In places like Yakima, the voting power of Latinx and Native communities has been diluted by splitting them between districts.
The Legislative Redistricting Commission in 2010 had before it different maps and different options, including districts that would have been performing for BIPOC populations in Yakima, and they chose not to do that. My understanding is that it was a political deal meant to preserve the incumbency of the current members who wanted the districts drawn this way because they believed that they would win re-election.
The splitting of the Yakima reservation, that really just tore the reservation in half. I was moved over to the 14th Legislative District just as an example of what occurred. While I have learned more about the governmental processes up here in Yakima, those resources aren't provided for the Yakima reservation community. I recognize that whatever happens in Yakima also impacts the Yakima reservation with city politics as well as with county politics.
Right now, most people in our community do not have the experience of having a member of the legislature or even any member of government that represents them, their values, their community. We are governed by people whose primary perception of our community is one of blindness, that they don't see us, that they don't notice our needs, that they don't understand what is going on in our communities.
When we think about redistricting, I'm wondering if the commission is only going to look at the Yakima reservation, if they even do that, or are they going to take a look at the Yakama Nation territories as a whole? Our tribal citizens reside throughout central Washington, particularly in the villages, our fishing communities along the Columbia River. It's important for the commissioners to also be in conversation with our Yakama Nation Tribal Council and General Council, which I don't think has been formally done. And it makes me think, what do they even know about the Treaty of 1855 with the United States government? Is the commission going to uphold what was shared in that negotiation? Are they going to break apart our land base and our people? I think those are serious questions that they need to be asking themselves.
All evidence tells us that Native Americans vote for Latino candidates between 85 to 95% of the time. Most of the evidence tells us that Latinos and Native Americans are a cohesive political bloc and political community, and it is possible to give those communities a chance to elect a candidate of their choice. I don't see any reason why the commission could not put the Yakama Nation as a whole in a district where the majority of the population and the majority of the voters are Latino.
So when we take a look at the demographics of Central Washington, there's a long history that we have of living together and, of course, working together. Over the years, there's been much done with communities of colors coming together and working on common issues or common goals that we have, particularly around the census. That makes a significant difference in how you're going to consider the politics around voting, but also consider the politics around legislative district representation and congressional representation. This time, I think the constituents and communities of interest advocated for changes in the makeup of the commission. We made nominations for individuals to be considered, and they were predominantly people of color, as opposed to 10 years ago, when I understand it was an all-white commission.
We as a community need to break away from that. from thinking that our politicians will not listen to us, from thinking that it's impossible for anyone to run, so why even try? The Redistricting Commission has the opportunity to break those molds and cast something new and give us candidates who will listen to the community, who will come from the community and understand what is going on.
At Redistricting Justice for Washington, we are fighting for political districts that prioritize people over politicians, keep tribal lands together, and preserve the political power of communities of color. Get involved at redistrictingjusticewa.org.